blow up.
I don't want to stream Minecraft on Twitch, but anyways, back to CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk though. If people can forgive um, uh, 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 um, Skyrim and Elder Scrolls series and all those games, you know, if they can forgive, if they can forgive Bethesda for releasing games like that, you know, in an incomplete state, then they shouldn't go after CD Projekt Red for releasing the exact same fucking thing.
But the thing is, with Bethesda's games, the reason no one really cares about it is because they are known for their glitches. The players don't mind it at this point, they enjoy the glitches. The reason Fallout 76 failed wasn't because necessarily of the glitches, but because the game was overly repetitive, you traveled way too much, and it was pay to win. That's why it failed.
Yeah, but we're not even talking about Fallout. We're talking about the Elder Scrolls series that they launch out. And I mean, they continuously launch games knowing that there's fucking bugs in it. Okay?
Yeah, but that's why they do it, because they know the fan base will enjoy it.
Yeah, well, okay, who says that CD Projekt can't do the same thing with Cyberpunk? I mean, if Bethesda is allowed to get away with releasing buggy games, other companies should be able to release a game that can play through.
Cyberpunk is anticipated to be this perfect game where you can literally do...
Yeah, but I think we're in that day and age where players shouldn't expect a game to be perfect off the get-go because the game worlds are getting so big. You cannot expect the developer to go through the entirety of the entire game world just once off and already fix all the bugs. It's impossible. It's a task that not even fucking 1 million people in one day can fucking accomplish, okay?
Don't rush the devs. Give the devs the time they require.
That's why games released in like closed and open beta and alpha states, so that they can game test it properly, so that they can see, is this shit fucked up? Is it working? Is it not working? Where's the bugs in it?
I have very high hopes for Cyberpunk, and someday I do wish to have a Steam Deck. Just someday. Because...
Yeah, so if you had it your way, someday you'd own every single fucking handheld console in the world.
I love handhelds, you have to understand that. Handhelds are...
No, don't get me wrong. I love my handhelds as well. I mean, I'm the one that bought the PSP, the PS Vita, and
it's mainly because
so
of you that I love handhelds.
I bought those simply because at that point in time, my kind of like living circumstances didn't allow for big clunky machinery to sit around. I'm finally at a fucking point now where big clunky machinery can sit around. Have you seen how large my world is? Oh, that's water spire is still here. Maybe I should get rid of this. It's an infinite. It is a magical water spire that just comes out of nowhere. Check it out. So, yeah, but anyways. You honestly, look, like I said, game developers should be held accountable for the products that they release, but also players should also be held accountable for how much they rush those same developers to get those projects out quicker.
People just don't realize that if you want the game to be good, then give the devs time.
Well, that's what I get to. That's what I'm getting to. It's kind of the same thing with anime as well, man, and manga series as well. If you pressure the creator to get new content out, and they rush it, then the quality of that content's definitely not going to be there. The same with video games. Over anticipating a game and also overhyping a game can also cause a lot of disappointment with players. Look at like God of War Ragnarok, for instance. They are hyping that game up so much now that it actually makes me scared to actually buy it and play it.
Precisely.
Because it's going to get to a point where it's just overhyped. For that same reason, any new trailer that launches for God of War, I'm just backing off of it for a while because I don't want to get myself too excited. So when I do eventually get the game and get to play it, then I'm kind of like, you know.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like what happened with the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. There was so much hype behind it that when I watched it, I kind of felt like undersold, you know? Like, well, oversold. Sorry, not undersold. Like they promised X, Y, and Z, and all I got was X.
Yeah.
But yeah, long run, I must say, man. Eventually, I will get into Cyberpunk. It's not gonna happen now, though.
I guarantee the day that game goes up to a low price or becomes PS Plus exclusive, I'm downloading and I'm playing.
You mean when it goes F2P, huh?
The game is free to play, but I mean, logically, with PlayStation Plus and...
No, I mean like free to play, free to download.
I mean, there's a possibility that could end up happening, because if they do that, the popularity of the game will skyrocket.
It'll surge, definitely. But then, once again, let's pull you back to No Man's Sky. That's a game that's never gone onto the free-to-play list.
Yeah, but the problem is because of its past history. That's why it couldn't go to free-to-play. So that had to...
Well, I mean, what past history? I mean, shit.
That game went through a lot of trouble.
It did, but then again, if you look at what you got now, was it worth waiting for all those bugs to be fixed out and sorted out? Fuck yes.
The thing is, if Cyberpunk decides to make the game free to play, they will need to add the co-op feature to perfect it, because if they do that and add co-op game modes, like let's say raids,
cars versus runners.
No, don't copy Grand Theft Auto. Do something unique, because it's in Cyberpunk.
I'm sorry, like, we are currently at this point where any game that is like a Grand Theft Auto-like game, okay, to some extent they're copying each other. I mean, look at Saints Row. You can't tell me that there isn't parts of it.
Saints Row game was...
You can't tell me that there aren't parts of that game that is exactly cloned straight off Grand Theft Auto.
But then again, the new Saints Row game was confirmed as disappointing and lacking.
Why?
Apparently it's because it's lacking content. There's just not much to do in it. It's very empty, very...
Yeah, well, maybe the creators of the game, maybe the publishers and the creators wanted to actually save some of the content so that they can have future DLCs that actually is worth buying.
Most likely, but I personally think Saints Row games are already really good as they are, and I love them.
Well, I've never played a Saints Row game, ever. No, never played Saints Row.
I have sat through
the
previous Saints Row games. I think that's because I had a friend who kept on forcing me to play it. He didn't stop telling me to not play
the last GTA type that I've played... Why is there blocks floating here? The last GTA type that I've played was Watch Dogs. And I'm sorry, even Watch Dogs to an extent felt like Grand Theft Auto. Too much like Grand Theft Auto. Yes, they've got a cool game mechanic in it where you hack shit, and that's about as far as it fucking went.
Aside from that, the game just...
It was a Grand Theft Auto clone, that's it.
Cyberpunk, if they add the co-op feature, I think what they should do is to add unique things that can fit with the cyberpunk-esque world. So, similar to Watch Dogs 2's hacking, add hacking features, have gang raids, because in Cyberpunk there are multiple gangs. So have gang wars, have things like that. Territorial wars like you had in Need for Speed games. Things like that. If they add vehicle customization with weapons, that can change it, because... I mean, think about it. You mix some Mad Max things in there and get some pretty cool...
Oh, talking about Mad Max, that was one GTA like that didn't go over too well. Nice, massive open world, the cars handled great, but missions just started feeling so repetitive, and... I mean, you know me, I'm a Mad Max fan. The only reason why I bought the game is because I'm a massive Mad Max fan.
Mad Max is a very good...
and don't get me wrong, the game was fun to play for about the first 3 hours, and then post those 3 hours, I mean, driving through a desert with absolutely nothing in it, you know, and here and there you've got like raids and shit. eventually it started getting a little bit played out.
I can.
Once again, that's not the developer's fault. I mean, they built a solid game. It just, the combat was too much like the Batman games, and then, yeah, and that kind of like just fell flat from there. On the other hand, though, we've got an issue with games like Grand Theft Auto, which is now 3 console generations in. And how many years has it been since they released the new Grand Theft Auto?
Well, I mean,
10, 12 years already? I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 launched on PS3 already. It's gone through PS3, PS4, PS4 Pro, and now PlayStation, and it's gone through multiple upgrades and do-overs.
You can say the same with Persona. Persona 5 was released on PS3. It hasn't really received a new port since the PS3.
I'm sorry, but I'm dead sorry, but there is a cutoff, okay? Once you hit second generation console, it's time to think about building the new game, not just rehashing the old shit.
The thing is, with...
Unless you're Minecraft, because they get away with that, because they've been doing that since what? PlayStation what? How much? 3?
No, but the thing is...
And it's... like, Minecraft is a game that's just still expanding.
With Persona is separated into 2 worlds, Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. Persona is a spin-off of SMT. So the thing is, they can get away with this because they publish an SMT game and it's considered a Persona game, but it's not. So a lot of fans are tricked into believing, oh, they got a new Persona game, but it's not. But Persona 6 is not necessarily revealed or confirmed to have been downloaded yet. Confirmed to have been made yet.
Yeah.
But they make spin-off titles just to keep us entertained. So I'm only talking about mainline games, and now I think on October or November, 3, 4, and 5 are going into modern ports. So Xbox One, PS4 and 5, Nintendo Switch, PC. All 3 of the biggest titles in the Persona series are coming to modern ports, meaning that all games will be up to standard with ports.
Nice. I want to see where this river ends up.
So I'm personally looking forward to buying 3 on PS4 and playing through that again, because 3 is by far my favorite game in the series.
You know, see, now that's what pisses me off now as well. There's just too many games being remade.
It's not remakes. They're porting the original game and just making a modern port.
That's the very definition of a remake. They're remaking it for a new console. That's all they're fucking doing. Yes, they're porting the original game. I get what you're saying. All right, don't get me wrong there. But it's not a new game, is it? It's kind of like The Last of Us, like Part 1, that they've remastered now as well. It's not a new game. It's an old game. It's a fucking PlayStation 3 generation game.
Okay, well, let me just reiterate myself. Persona 3 Portable is the one getting reported. It's not even the most important one. The most important one in Persona 3 is Fez, because it has its actual ending. Main character dies and gets turned into a door to seal away the being of death. Nyx. That is the actual ending to the game. But people weren't happy with this because the main character was turned into a door. So now they decided to go ahead and take the PSP version, which is more of a visual novel, where you spend most of your time going through story pages where you read through dialogue and hear the characters interact and just use a cursor. Oh god,
so it's going to be one of those fucking Reedy McGee games that I just don't want to fucking play.
The only time you've got free movement and control is when you enter Tartarus to travel through floors and kill shadows. That's the only time you've got free movement. But I've got my hopes set that they at least add the free movement to each point. Because Persona 3 Portable is the only game in the entire series that has the female main character. There is no other Persona game that has a female main character. Which makes it unique because if you complete one of the social links early enough, you can prevent one of the characters from dying. Which changes the story because the main character, that one character is meant to die.
I think the only person who changes the story for is fucking you, dude. For me, all it just sounds like is more frustration that I can fucking handle. I mean, if I have to sit through like hours worth of reading, and don't get me wrong, okay, I get it. Like Japanese people, they love their fucking reading. Okay, they get to have that, but as a like 40-year-old Westerner, I still don't want to fucking read.
The thing is,
call me lazy if you want to, but I don't want to sit there and read for a fucking decade.
Persona isn't actually a very difficult game to get into. Yes, there's a lot of reading, but that can be skipped through. The only thing you'll have to pay attention is to just look at reading clues for solving puzzles when you've done.
Hey, don't you want to fix up that end gate for me there?
No.
Come on, you know how to do it. I don't.
That would be the only time you'll have to actually read, is just to look at clues.
Come on, come fix up that end gate quickly.
But aside from that, the game is super simple. If you want to unlock abilities, socialize with characters that have arcanas, and rank them up and gain new abilities. When they reach rank 10, their personas evolve into even stronger forms based on...
Yeah, now that very fucking act of socializing is like endless reading in Japanese RPGs, man. That's what pisses me off.
You can romance digital characters.
What they do is, okay, so I get to get myself a 2D waifu. Holy shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I already have a 3D one, sorry, and that one's fuckable, so...
But...
Yeah, stopped you in your tracks on that one, didn't I?
The one thing I also love about it, it's one of the few games that incorporate mythological gods and heroes as characters that actually do it successfully. Aside from things like Fate, that already do that very well, Persona just nails it even better. Because why would you not want a Greek god as a weapon? Stalactites, yeah.
Okay, why can't I build stalactites is the question.
I think you can, you just need to go find it somewhere in the...
I'm in creator mode.
Yeah, creator mode thingy.
I haven't actually explored this one yet. Oh shit, I'm fucking lost again, aren't I? But anyways, yeah, I might have a strong opinion about what I like in games, but you're not going to change that out of me. JRPGs, it's not my scene. I'm sorry, but I tried. The closest I can get is Final Fantasy, man, and that's pushing the boundaries for me, man.
Well, I mean, it depends which Final Fantasy it is, of course.
Any of them. I'll play any of them. I don't care.
But I don't think you'll end up replaying it unless you actually enjoyed it.
X and X2 was one of those that I actually replayed multiple times. I enjoyed playing them. They were fun.
I've only played 10 and 10 Part 2 twice because it's not my favorite. I've played 8, I think, at least 5 times, 6 times, because it's probably my favorite. 13 is the longest, most painful Final Fantasy game I struggled to actually play through more than once. Because it's not just one part or 2 parts, it's 4 separate parts you have to sit through with the same characters, each interacting every part. It is very annoying. Part 1 you play as Lightning, Part 2 Lightning goes missing, Part 3 you have to find Lightning, Part 4 Lightning comes back.
Okay, I found my way home.
And then
there's that end gate.
Then there's the second, like the secondary spin-off titles like Zero, which was interesting. Or the Dissidia games.
I don't know, Dissidia never really sat too well with me.
Well, I mean, I only see it for its multiplayer value, that's all I can view it as. I like the fact they tried turning it into a fighting game, and they didn't do what they did with Fire Emblem, Zelda, and Fire Emblem and Zelda, and Persona, where they turned it into those beat 'em up games where you have to just fight off hundreds of enemies with one character. Because if they did that, I would just be saddened. In this case, it's just one-on-one open world fighting combat, which makes it quite enjoyable. Because Zelda and Fire Emblem were ruined after those beat-em-up games. New Fire Emblem main character looks like a tube of toothpaste.
Okay, well, anyway, I think your game's done downloading, so I'm going to stop this here.
I can keep playing for a bit.
No, I want to do my thing, I'm just going to get back into the lobby here. Damn it.
I'm also like my fun food.
I mean, I think I've built an interesting enough lobby here.
If I had to rank which handheld I'd buy first, as much as what I would love a Switch, specifically and only the OLED.
But now the big question is, if you had to decide which handheld should have a follow-up handheld,
The Switch. It deserves another console, and they've confirmed.
But they've already done that. The Switch isn't exactly a handheld. It's a hybrid. Okay,
it's a hybrid console.
Let's just get that out of the way first.
I know PlayStation.
It's not a pure handheld. It is a console. Okay.
I know PlayStation confirmed the PS Vita 2, and Nintendo's confirmed the Nintendo Switch 2.
Let's just get one thing right. PlayStation hasn't really 100% confirmed on the PS Vita 2.
They just stated they're going to work on it.
They have definitely confirmed the PSVR 2, and they've already demoed it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the new Freedom Wars game. That's what I still wanted to talk about.
Freedom Wars, the one that has
No.
some of the other gameplay mechanics of what's his name mixed into it.
No, this game is literally, it's not a sequel. They took the original Freedom Wars game and they made a brand new game out of the exact same mechanics with that and God Eater, because...
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, they integrated some God Eater's parts into
because
that game.
Because the creator of God Eater and Freedom Wars are working together to make the game. Now, the problem was, this game was perfectly solid. A lot of people were looking forward to it. But they released character artworks and they got into a bit of a problem because they discovered that the original artist doing some of the characters had stolen.
Yeah, he plagiarized some of the character art.
Yeah, people that did art on Twitter and DeviantArt, Pinterest, things like that. This artist stole their work and they got into some trouble for that. So they had to create new character concepts. But I mean, it looks like there are 6 factions you'll be able to choose.
Now you gotta ask a question. Where was the creative director during that shit?
They stated that they didn't confirm any of it for some reason.
Where was the creative director during all that shit? Because he's the one that's supposed to take charge of that shit and see. Oh, look at the bookshelf I built, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
you know what it is, though? It's trapdoors and floor panels.
I can see so.
It's an awesome bookshelf, though.
It looks like there are 6 different factions you'll be able to choose from for which faction you want to align yourself
I don't remember Freedom Wars all that well, man. I didn't put as much time into it. That was one of the last games I bought on the Vita before I gave it over to you.
No, but so.
Oh, look at this, my kitty corner.
This new game seems to have 6 factions that you can choose to work with and align with. Each probably going to give different skills, different customization options, and things like that. So they're basically
Office.
Wow.
Office.
So they've added a bit of
Office.
I see. They've added a bit of Fire Emblem 3 houses concept in there. Choose a house you want to work with and get skills from it.
Yeah, but doesn't that kind of detract from the whole Freedom Wars basic concept? The whole idea behind Freedom Wars was you were a prisoner, a convict of some sort, and you were supposed to go and fight and complete missions so that you can get yourself free.
You're still a prisoner in the Panopticon, but they are basically gangs inside the Panopticon that you can join with and work with to complete your missions.
Kind of like the buddy system that was in Freedom Wars the first time around.
You work with buddies,
where you
bond with them.
go and like increase your bond with certain characters, so that when you fight together, you've got certain attributes that come alive.
Exactly, things like that. But they've expanded a little more.
So, Freedom Wars never launched on any other console, did it?
It never did, and I'm still sad about it.
They are so... Oh, man, but that's why I'm so happy about this, the latest PlayStation Plus, or the PlayStation subscription services, because they're actually looking at PS Vita games. They're actually looking... Soul Sacrifice. Holy shit.
Delta specifically.
I don't care which one. Soul Sacrifice. Delta just added a whole bunch of DLC to it.
No, Delta is the one that's more beneficial for multiplayer. It has the entire storyline. You can still fight Megasaur, all that. But you
Megasaur. Yeah. Not Megasaur. Megasaur sounds like a Transformers character.
No, but it's more...
Or like a aborted fucking Jurassic Park character for the movie.
Soul Sacrifice was a game I loved. You had to decide, are you going to increase your magic or your health? Are you going to, say, sacrifice souls?
Oh, man. Soul Sacrifice was that one game that if it launched on the right console, it would have broken the internet. I swear. Okay.
The Kiwami servers are still not shut down.
No, the Gaiden's going to go for a long time still.
Yeah, but Monster Hunter exceeds it, so its popularity is a little lower.
Yeah, but that's because of Monster Hunter World. The Gaiden is the one that never went with the World Series type thing.
It was more focused for Japanese-based concepts. But then there's the newest Monster Hunter, which is literally set in Japan. And the newest Pokemon game is also set in Japan.
Yeah, that's fucking fantastic for the Japanese. Just screw the Westerner out of his shit.
No, the newest Pokemon game is actually interesting because it's not necessarily set in Japan. It's set in the Pokemon world before all the other regions were formed.
Okay, so before there was, like, Palatown and all that shit.
Yeah, Sinnoh and all those places.
Name all the Pokemon towns.
Whoa. I can't name the towns, I can name the regions.
Okay.
Sinnoh, Hoenn, Johto, Kanto, Galar, yeah, that's all. That's 5.
That's 5, you're missing.
There's 4 more.
There's 4 more, you're missing like a whole list there, dude.
I'm not sure if you've seen some of the newest Pokemon, they're starting to become very generic with their designs. And I'm disappointed.
Okay, well, this was an interesting half an hour of talking while I'm just flying around Minecraft. So for now, I'm going to cut this feed, and you're going to jump into a new game and give us a good playthrough.
Sure.
How does that sound?
Sure. I just need to set my...
What game are we playing?
Grand Blue.
Grand Blue. Which one?
Grand Blue Fantasy versus...
Okay, so... Grand Blue Fantasy VS.
I have to go set my phone to charge.
Yeah, you've got about a good hour that you can play in Grand Blue. So, all right, that's coming up. Alex is going to play Grand Blue VS for us and give us a good little, a little bit of a talk through on that one. Let us know if the game is worth it or not. Yay. Okay, first gotta stop this one.